Buonasera. Using a bread knife, I'm cleaning an aubergine because today I will be cooking a delicious Sicilian spaghetti alla parmigiana. I've just removed the little head from the top and I'm going to be slicing this aubergine into 1 centimeter slice. This is approximately 300 grams in weight. I'm now slicing the aubergine lengthwise, again 1 centimeter strips. I'll go along with a knife and I'll chop them in half next. Put them in a nice large glass bowl and I'll marinate them with a little olive oil, some salt and a generous amount of pepper. And I'll give them a very quick mix and I'll put them on one side. Olive oil in a large frying pan, large clove of garlic, crushing it with the skin included and adding it to the oil. This is a red chili pepper, medium heat. I will just be pinching a little, just enough to taste really, and add it to the oil. I moved the pan on the hob and my garlic and chili has been sizzling for a good minute, and I will be adding the aubergines next. I'll mix everything together so that the aubergine absorbs the flavor from the garlic and the chili pepper. I'll place the lid on and I'll turn the temperature down onto number 4 out of 9 for a good 10 minutes until the aubergines are almost cooked. In the meantime, I've halved 300 grams of baby plum tomatoes, but also you can use cherry tomatoes, or if you do not have access to fresh tomatoes, you can use tomatoes in a tin, but fresh is best, but clearly in a tin is also very good. New frying pan, a little olive oil, more chili pepper and another clove of garlic, again crushed with the skin. And just like I did with the aubergines, within a minute of them start sizzling, I'll add the tomatoes. I will not be adding any salt because I put salt in the aubergines and I'll be putting some salt in the water when I do the pasta, and I can always add salt at the end if needed, so it's best to keep it low for the time being. At the same time, I'm also keeping an eye on the aubergines. They've been cooking now for a good 5 minutes and I can see they're well on their way, so I'll put the lid back on. And I will leave the tomatoes to cook also on a gentle heat, number 5 at the moment, yeah, 5 out of 9, for about 5 minutes, and they should be done more or less cooked at the same time as the aubergines. In the meantime, I've chopped 1 fresh mozzarella in little cubes, approximately anything between half a centimeter and 1 centimeter. These are sun-dried tomatoes, which I'm chopping also into little pieces, 4 pieces here, they come in a container. You can choose not to put them in. I'm adding them because they will add a different type of flavor to the fresh tomatoes, but as I said, they're optional. And I'm now fishing a few olives. These are green pitted olives which I keep in olive oil. Again, not a lot because I do not want them to be taking over the recipe, but just a few would be nice. I've just chopped them in half as well, and I will be adding them to my other ingredients. So the aubergines are nearly done. The tomatoes are cooked, so I can add them together now. I'm giving them a quick mix with my spatula, and I will be putting the lid on, and I'll turn the temperature very low. Actually, I'll move them on the back and I'll leave them on minimum. This is Parmesan cheese. You can also use pecorino, but Parmesan cheese is better because it's not strong, and the Parmigiana generally has Parmigiano, but some people choose to put pecorino. By the way, I'm now reaching the end of my piece of Parmesan cheese and the rind. Do not throw it away, that is sacrilege. What I'll do, I'll scrape the top off, again with the cheese grater once I'm finished. I'll put it in a plastic bag and keep it in the freezer, and you can use it when you're making beans pasta, pasta fagioli, or lots of different recipes, and I'll show you as and when I make one, and I will refer to this one, but do not throw it away. And my water is boiling, and a little tip, this is something that my mum taught me: whenever you're cooking pasta, make sure that you go plenty of water, enough to cover your pasta. You do not want the pasta not to be covered by water, and everything has got to be cooking throughout. So the water is boiling, and I'll add a little salt, and I'll be adding my spaghetti. If you're making this recipe, follow the cooking instructions, but I will want them to be just before al dente. And my pasta is done. I'll drain it here as I want to keep some of the water in case I need it. And as it is, I'll add it to my tomatoes. I'm gonna start by adding 1 ladle of cooking water, maybe 1.5 actually. You can see that it's gonna need it. And I'll mix it initially to ensure that the pasta finishes cooking with the tomatoes and the aubergine, so that absorbs the lovely flavor. Make sure that the temperature is on a medium high, and the starches from the pasta will give you a lovely cream as well. It's looking really good, more than 1 minute, and it's ready, so I'll turn it off. And while everything is still piping hot, I will be adding my mozzarella, sun-dried tomatoes, and my olives. Again, the olives and the sun-dried tomatoes is an optional ingredient. I recommend you add them because they go very well, but you do not have to. And also some fresh basil, a handful of fresh basil. Basil, it's a must ingredient for Parmigiana, so it's a must ingredient for this pasta. And I'm now making sure that the heat from the pasta and the tomatoes and the aubergines are gonna be melting my mozzarella and blending with the rest of the ingredients I just added. And lastly, my Parmesan cheese goes on top. And I'm adding the Parmesan very last, not while it was cooking, because if you do, it will get stuck to the pan, and you don't want that. You want the Parmesan to get stuck to your pasta. And nearly ready to serve, I will be adding a little drizzle of olive oil at the very end. And I'm adding also some pepper. By the way, I was reading a little bit about pasta earlier, and I was noting that in Italy the average consumption per person per annum of pasta is 23.5 kilos, which is approximately, what is it, about 50 pounds, roughly a pound a week. And when I was
I'm not
little,
surprised by that.
no, not
Honestly,
surprised at all. Followed by, actually, ironically, by Tunisia, 17 kilos, and third place I think was Venezuela, 12 kilos per person. Yeah, interesting. But when I was Tunisia, yes, when I was
It's
a
only
little,
over the water from Sicily.
yeah,
I suppose it's not that far, is it?
indeed, yes. When I was a little boy, I used to get home from school, and I would say to my mum, "Mum, what pasta we are having today?" Whereas actually my children come back from school, they would say, "What's for tea?" They give you an idea of how pasta is embedded in the culture of Italy.
It has to be said, we have had Francesco's mum and dad here before, and when they came, we were trying to, give them the English diet. Sandwiches, sandwiches for lunch, toasties, whatever it was, toast, whatever it was, snack for lunch, and then in the end, Salvo put his foot down and was like, "No, I need pasta. We do need some pasta."
Command. And there it is. I will be using our favorite dish. It goes very well color-wise. And it has to have basil on the top. That is a must for Parmigiana. So it's a must for this pasta. And it's ready.
Tasting time.
Tasting time. Look at the mozzarella. Has done exactly what I was looking for. I need to make sure that there is some aubergine in there. Let's have a look. Ooh, everywhere. Everywhere. Big mouthful. Delicious. Honestly, the mozzarella is what is in my mouth at the moment, but everything, you can taste everything. The combination of the olives and the sun-dried tomatoes is an excellent addition, but you can drop if you want. Really, taste of summer, delicious, and if you try, you will love it. Ciao, ciao. Let me know how you get on if you make it. Thank you for watching. Ciao.